I used to really hate when people talked about body positivity and loving yourself because I was first diagnosed with PTSD at 15. And at 15, you're learning coping skills. Well, if you don't learn those coping skills, you should just kind of spiral in weird places in life. One of the first things that I did that really made a difference for me, and I talk about my PTSD and I talk about things like that because I'm neurodivergent, right? My brain doesn't work the way everybody else's brain works, and that's okay. Like 50% of the population is going through this. It's not just women. There are a lot of men going through this. But when I started organizing my art supplies and making them accessible, I remembered how much I enjoyed it. I remembered that I'm actually a really good writer. I remembered that I had all of these art supplies that I wasn't good with, right? My mom is an artist and an author, actually. Um, and she gave me all of these art supplies that she had gone through. She had tried out, they didn't work for her. Great. But in my neurodivergent brain, I was like, well, I have to keep these. My mother gave them to me. No, it's not how that works. You can get rid of things. You can get rid of crafty things. Because you know what? What are the chances you're actually going to use them now? If there are chances you're going to use them, save them, organize them. But if you have gotten a bunch of stuff and you're like, okay, well, I'm hanging on to this because of whatever, maybe you have a friend that could use it. Maybe you can donate it to a craft group. Like, do I need a giant bag of acrylic yarn because it was my great grandmother's? No. But what I did do is I saved the Woolworths label off them because that was cool, and that reminds me of my great grandma. But you can donate that, the yarn itself, drop it off at a non-profit or a seniors facility, or talk to teachers and see if a daycare needs it. Like, getting rid of stuff doesn't have to be negative. This is going to open your craft area up. Focus on the things that you love doing. Right now I'm writing, which I never thought I would have space for. I never thought I would have time for. But it becomes cyclic, right? It's like you start feeling better about one area. You start thinking, well, maybe I am a good artist. Maybe I'm actually pretty good at something. But now you've cleaned that space. You can start doing that again. That's building your confidence. That's contributing to positivity. And so I aged a lot this summer. I had my teeth out. I had hysterectomy. I talk about this a lot. Sorry. Not sorry. But even just doing that small piece of cleaning, organize your paintbrushes. Organize your beads, organize the bits of writing that you've done, organize your kitchen. Part of this is also learning about your love language. And I know I hate that. But love language isn't just about talking to your partner and talking to your kids. It's finding out these things that mean something to you about your creativity and about your brain, and it just starts to roll, right? Because I don't hate myself quite as much anymore. I'm able to pass that on to my kids. Because I don't hate myself so much anymore, I can look at my ex and say, you know what? We were together for a reason, right? And I'm now able to talk to my kids about these good things that their dad does because he's really creative. He helped me organize things. He had a lot of great ideas. And I can respect him for that. But at the same time, I'm starting to respect myself for the decisions that I'm making. And this literally started with cleaning my art area. And when we get through the thing where we can't give anything away, oh my God, we can't give anything away, we end up holding on to all of this shit, and we end up looking at our failures because they're accumulating around us. When it comes to stuff, if you can't get rid of the physical stuff, sorry, my eyelash, it's the light. I've discovered that light and plants are important to me. They make me feel more positive about myself. I'm keeping something alive, and that feels good. Maybe you can't. do that yet. Maybe you aren't at a plant place yet. Maybe you're not at an organize my bookshelf place yet. But the small things you do can have a really big effect. This goes into neuroplasticity. This goes into a whole schwackadoodle of science that I also love. But at the first and foremost, start small. Start really small. And don't internalize the bullshit you've been told. Because at some point, and I hope this is true, and it may not be true for anyone else, but I want you to try and remember the things you did in your past that gave you confidence, not the ones that didn't, not the ones that took it away. And I have a story about that, but unfortunately, some of the people are still alive, so I don't want to tell it. But I mean, when we find something that brings us such joy, such goodness, and it gets squashed for whatever reason. You felt really beautiful in a pair of jeans and you were kind of strutting that day, and someone was like, you suck, you're ugly, your nose is too big, your hair is too whatever, you're too loud, you're too much, you're too this, you're too that. But maybe that was who you are, and that wasn't nurtured. So maybe try it. Maybe try that thing that you remembered you loved. So that's how cleaning helped me get back to something I love and something that I was good at, that I literally, after years of internalizing the shitty things that people have said to me, I really believed about myself. The beauty of menopause, neuroplasticity, and cleaning. Oh, it's good. It's so good. Look into it if you so desire. This is how I started to feel more positive about my body. And it's funny because at one point I swore I'd never go on camera. I swore I'd never have a picture taken of me where I looked not perfect. And now I don't care. Because you know what? This is actually a thing that people go through, and it's not just me. And I really honestly believed if we talked about it more, if we found support systems within our community, we're going to be in a better place. A lot of that is artists, is writers, is people who are, a bit neurodivergent. I hate when it all comes together and I'm like, but what if I'm not sarcastic and bitchy anymore? I'm afraid of that.